watching Monty TV. I'm Jackie Karsh, joined by Vasco Pedro. He's the co-founder and CEO of translation platform Unbabel. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Jackie. It's a pleasure to be here.
What about the translation industry wasn't working that we needed Unbabel?
Well, if you look at the way translation has been happening until now, it's mostly by using manual processes, non-scalable, just throwing humans at it. And what we're seeing, the vision of Unbabel was that there was going to be this thing, the future, that was going to be the world translation layer. It's going to be a combination of artificial intelligence and human translation, and it's going to be plugged everywhere. It's going to be seamless. It's going to be dealing with every language pair, content type, and it's going to enable all the business functions of a company to function in a global society.
How essential is it to have this kind of technology when you want to expand your company?
Well, I mean, every global company needs to deal with translation in some form. We live in a world where, on one hand, we're becoming more global, so companies go global earlier, but also more local, where everyone expects to have experiences in their local language, which means that companies need to be able to support their customers in all the languages, need to sell, need to communicate. They also expand in terms of teams across languages, so need to communicate internally. That's becoming more and more of an issue.
Why can't we just all use Google Translate?
Well, Google Translate has been doing a great job for the consumer side, but it's simply not ready for the enterprise. The quality is not there yet. Machine translation by itself just hasn't figured out the way to solve translation in a very high quality matter. And so for any sort of business critical interactions, you very quickly stop being able to communicate. It's a bit like, if you're going in a place and trying to ask a taxi driver how to get a place, maybe Google Translate will work. But if you want to open a bank account, for example, try doing that using Google Translate. It's a mess.
How do you ensure that your translations are always accurate, always conveying the tempo or the attitude that a human might use?
Well, essentially because there is a human component. We combine artificial intelligence with a crowd of 150,000 translators. We have a very sophisticated process for vetting the humans involved, and we've developed a lot of technology to determine when we need a human to go and fix whatever the output of AI is doing that is not perfect. And so it's this blend of human and artificial intelligence that guarantees this very high quality human level of translation.
When you're working with big companies, because it's the customer service side of things, which is a critical part of their relationship with the buyers of their product or the users of their product, does that sensitivity follow through into your product?
Yes, definitely. We were seeing, for example, one very interesting use case is Japan. So Japanese language, and especially like Japan as a market, they're very sensitive to language issues, especially because the cultural nuances of the language are very important to them. And what we demonstrated with Unbabel is that we're able to handle all of those nuances in a very high quality way. Not just is it correct or not, but is it the most appropriate way of interacting with a particular person in a particular situation.
We expect to see artificial intelligence just take off. How does that apply to Unbabel?
Where we're seeing artificial intelligence having the biggest impact is in markets where they're fairly highly commoditized and with a large amount of human effort. And translation is one of them. So customer service is another, automation in factories is another. So we're seeing much more artificial intelligence having an impact on narrow domains that we can really optimize versus kind of general domains and general tasks. Translation is really poised to be disrupted by AI. What we see though is not an immediate takeover in the sense that AI will just replace humans. That's really not the future we see. It's really the blend of AI and humans and enabling humans as translators to focus on the things that humans are really good. The nuance, the cultural changes, the interpretation of intent, and have technology do the things that technology is good, everything that is kind of boring.